It's really nice to see some sunshine 5:25 in an evening, whereas times before everything was all dark and the streetlights were on and stuff like that. Anyway folks, welcome to Walkie Talkie, and I can only say come on regarding Manchester. You did very nicely, by the way. You obviously looked at what happened with Andy Burnham and Keir Starmer and literally fought with your feet. Voted with your feet, I should say. You did really nicely. You got the Greens in. Now, whilst I don't 100% agree with the Greens because they're all kind of left-leaning and whatever, right? You had said something very, very loud, right? And I am absolutely proud of you to pull up the handbrake and say no to Keir Starmer. So yeah, I'm very proud of you all. Manchester always a nice place to be. At one point I will be in Manchester. So yeah, I'm very proud of you all. You voted tactically, right? You wanted no more to do with Starmer because of what happened with Andy Burnham. Fair play. The Greens, I was a bit confused about because of the whole living thing, but I kind of get where you're coming from actually, right? Reform and restore, because reform is kind of known to people who are lesserly informed. Oh, Jesus Christ! You're a real job, you! Anyway, never mind. So yeah, I can get the idea, you know, the lesser informed, when they hear reform, they go, oh, racism, and there have been wee kind of small bits of kind of like doubt about reform, and then restore appeared not so long ago. So obviously, these are wanting to chase for a known name, and the only closest would be the Greens. And that's absolutely fine. Now, up in Scotland, the next local election isn't too far from here. I finally understand what that building is. It's a student residence. Oh well. Times have passed by going, what is that? Finally found the answer. Anyway, so yeah, the Greens. And the thing was, you know, unlike what our previous elections have been hung parliaments and stuff like that, it was quite straight down the board Greens. There was no if, buts and maybes. So that's quite interesting. Now, the term tactical voting was brought up because apparently some kind of voting overseeing / charity thing, you know, like it's almost like a voting version of bus users, right? Tried to say there had been family voting where people going in and going into the actual voting booth with somebody and talking it through before putting the X on the vote. To be honest, if what you call family voting, you know, going into the booth with somebody and talking it out before putting the X on the box happen, then yeah, that is very, very, very much illegal, right? But I just only hope, if that was going on, people were caught and people were dealt with regards to the current law regarding I really hope that was on the down low if it was happening, and if anybody doing so gets caught. Partly they are making some investigations as of today about that, but I think there's just going to be too little for the police to actually chase, right? The amount of times somebody maybe gets harassed on a train or assaulted or jumped on the way home or jumped on the way home from work, right? They hand the case to the police do their best to investigate it, and then they come back no more than about 5 weeks from the incident and say we've investigated it to inches of its life, and unfortunately time has barred on the case. There's not been anything we can chase upon, so unfortunately we can't even contact the Prot Fisk to extend investigation time. Yeah, a lot of investigations with the police are completely time dependent, money dependent, right? I've got a friend, he sold a console on Gumtree, yeah, right, and he met a person, the console was handed over, and he had got given what you call in Scotland rubber notes, right, and it wasn't discovered until he went to go and buy something at the shop, and yeah, there was a bit of an awkward exchange between customer and retailer. Police were called, etc., and it was reasonably indicated that where it came from. So, you know, the police did what you call reasonable investigation time on it, and then because time barred on the case closed, and unfortunately the friend in concern doesn't have any real money for that console. Now the thing is, I know places like CEX and like cash generators and cash converters and stuff give absolutely fucking dire amounts of money for things at the best day of the week, but at least your console goes into safe hands and you've got safe money. That's all I can say. And the thing with CEX, they call it sex, but I call it CEX, right? Just so the easily perpetually offended don't get right. So, you know, going to CEX is quite a good idea, and yeah, you might get absolute jobby money, right? Like, but ultimately they do this like 50-way testing, especially on consoles. So you know, you get to know if there are any issues with your Xbox or your PS or whatever, right? It's really good. And then they give you money. It might not be what you want for the device, but the good thing is, again, wow, right, you get safe money, and your console gets a right good checking over. I think it even gets pat tested. So to be honest, at least you're giving your console away in confidence that everything's 100% fine. You might not get the best amount of money for it, but at least you're not getting shafted off of some random Joe Anonymous from Gumtree and whatever, you know. Sometimes you have to kind of, if this was a game, a deal or no deal, right, and you could have a high amount of money but with risk, or a low amount of money, no risk, it might be actually safer, to be honest, to actually say, you know what, I'm going to take the least amount of risk and have safe money. You know, only the other day I actually seen a fake coin. It just doesn't feel right in your hand, you know, like compared to a normal pound coin. And also fake coins, when you're using things like vending machines, washing machines and laundrette, etc., the coin just bounces back at you. That's all we can say. So hope you all enjoy my little bit and piece about Manchester, and I really do hope us Scots, right, I really do hope us Scots actually come to a point where we do something very similar to Manchester, right, and say, Kia, no, off it to fuck, bye bye, right? And I think that's the thing we want to see, people raising their voices and telling the filth to fuck off, right? That's all I can say. I would say we're probably in the area of about 9 weeks away from our votes. So yeah, as a general note, right, vote anything apart from Labour and the SNP. We don't want any more Jimmy Krankie antics, you know. Set Jimmy Krankie away in a Levante. That would be my dish of the day. But anywho folks, I'm going to head off and get my shopping done. Catch you later.